Hello, my name is Greg Pritchard and I am Lower Merion Township's Historic Preservation Planner. Today I would like to share a very rare and special film with you. In the mid-1960s, Philadelphia's WFIL TV, which was then Channel 6, produced a weekly series of programs they called Community Salutes, half-hour programs highlighting various towns in our region. WFIL filmed several of these programs right here in Lower Merion. We first learned about them when 3 films in engraved presentation canisters labeled Lower Merion Township, Bryn Mawr, and Haverford found their way to the Building and Planning Department through a resident who kept them safe for many years. The particular film you're about to see is the Salute to Haverford, which first aired on WFIL the week of August 16, 1965.
The WFIL station salute Haverford, Pennsylvania. Haverford, one of the most populous and most beautiful of the mainline communities, has roots that go back to 1684, when the first Quaker families from Wales arrived in the area. Today, it is a classic example of the flight to the suburbs from the centers of metropolitan areas, an exodus that began more than 4 decades ago, and today Haverford's population is 8 times what it was in 1920. This is Roy Nassau. Haverford lies partly in Lower Merion Township and partly in Haverford Township. Haverford is, first and foremost, a community of outstanding homes. Its residents pride themselves in their beauty, magnificent and stately in their appearance, surrounded by some of the best maintained landscape in the Delaware Valley on tree-shaded lanes and byways. Representing Haverford on the Lower Merion Township Board of Commissioners is Hal Bemis, who finds his neighbors are content.
Actually, Haverford is a post office name. Now, it divides as a post office into a part Lower Merion in Montgomery County and part in Haverford Township in Delaware County. The line roughly runs through Haverford College and back of Haverford School. This doesn't create any problems simply because we're talking about a residential area and people get along very well. There rarely are problems that have to be straightened out, and when they are, they can be done informally, and I don't remember that there has been a problem that couldn't have been straightened out in the time that it was, which was very short.
There is little ground in Haverford for construction of new homes. However, some larger estates have made ground available to developers, and in keeping with the image of Haverford, new homes are being built. However, there can be no sizable increase in population in Haverford because there just isn't that much land available for expansion and building. And zoning laws make new commercial ventures and new apartment construction most difficult. The apartments that are part and parcel of Haverford are long established. They too conform with the architectural standards of the mainline community. Most of the multi-occupant buildings are located along Montgomery Avenue and Lancaster Pike. Commissioner Bemis finds that more often than not, residents of Haverford don't take as much interest in township government as perhaps they might.
No, and I think that is, as the commissioner from the district, that's one of my great problems, is people do not get excited about the problems of government. And there are many of them, and particularly in Lower Merion, which has historically been a residential community, is now feeling the movement of urbanization. I don't think the people in Haverford are aware of the magnitude of the problems that are coming. And I think that if they were, they could be of greater assistance in the development of the Lower Merion picture to become more as it must be, which is to absorb this urbanization and yet not lose its character.
Could you elaborate just a little bit, Mr. Bemis, on some of the problems that are coming?
One of the greatest problems we face in all of Lower Merion, of course, is the matter of traffic and the movement of people, not only in and out of Philadelphia, but in and around the area. The movement of traffic is a very serious one to us because this is an old community, and I'm speaking of all of Lower Merion. The roads were never designed for this sort of thing, and there are very few ways that you can handle the kind of traffic that we are getting. I personally think that one of the great opportunities lies along the Pennsylvania Railroad situation, which will move most rapidly and most effectively the people in and out of Philadelphia. I think that's our salvation there.
Haverford is the center of an outstanding educational complex with Haverford College, Haverford School, the Vanguard School, and the Friends School within its borders. Haverford College is the oldest Quaker institution of higher learning in the United States. The campus is located both in Lower Merion and Haverford Townships. The four-year liberal arts school has resisted all pressures to enlarge beyond what is considered a size basic to its purposes. It's felt that a small community is fundamental to the achievements of Haverford's broad educational aims. Its enrollment is kept at about 500 male students. The college concerns itself with individual responsibility and awareness. Haverford's Dean of Men, Dr. James Lyons, says the one thing that is typical about the Haverford student is that he is not typical.
But I do know that on our campus, we consciously try to encourage each of our students to be himself. As one of our students put it last year, as he was going through what some would call an identity crisis, he said, "It's more important for me to be than to appear to be." And Haverford is the kind of small, encompassing environment where the facades of fraternity pins, the facades of a family name, or the facades of a car, or some of the trappings of dress are readily discarded by our students, and they seem to welcome the opportunity to be themselves. Very few of them have had the opportunity, at least in today's secondary schools, to be that.
Haverford's huge rolling campus covers 216 acres of what was once rolling farmland in the center of the Welsh tract originally set apart by William Penn for Quaker immigrants from Wales. Today, the college has no formal connection with any group or meeting of the Society of Friends. By tradition, its managers and trustees are Friends, and about 12% of the student body are members of the Society of Friends. Presently, it has a program for expansion that will permit about 700 students to attend Haverford by 1975. Haverford willingly shares its facilities and assets with the community, and visitors are always welcome on the beautiful campus. Haverford students have a way of making headlines that some residents of the community may not appreciate, but these students are the exceptions, according to Dean of Men Lyons.
Well, sure, there would be some instances. You just don't take a student, a boy 17 or 18 years old, subject him to an intense academic course of study, ask him to test and subject himself to the most introspective kind of search that is possible, and expect him to be a conformist in the early stages of this process. So consequently, we've got any number of students who at one stage or another in this process are going through real stages of soul searching, of value testing. And when they're doing this, they're by no means conformists. And quite often the nonconformist is the one who gets the publicity. But in all regards, the student body is not an abnormal one by any means. It's a solid, highly capable, and frankly quite an altruistic group.
One of the nation's finest secondary schools is the Haverford School, now marking its 81st year. Its stature among schools of its type has been developed under just 4 headmasters since it was founded in 1884. The school is open to all boys, and selection is based on many facets of the youth, for Haverford School believes not only in the academic side of education, but also the physical, the cultural, and the character development of the student. Its retiring headmaster is Leslie R. Severinghouse, who has been at Haverford 36 years, 23 as headmaster. It is Mr. Severinghouse who best delineates Haverford School.
We feel quite definitely that young people should learn to know that no man can live unto himself, which is something of a biblical paraphrase, I suppose. Secondly, that they must learn to meet a pattern of obligations, whether distasteful or likable. This is one of life's demands. And I think, furthermore, that we ask them to take a position with regard to the things with which they're being challenged. In other words, nobody can straddle issues forever. They've got to commit themselves to something.
Haverford's long list of distinguished graduates contains many famous names. Haverford School is also proud of the fact that the sons of many of its alumni enroll in the school. And Haverford graduates' record in institutions of higher learning is also very impressive, according to Mr. Severing House.
Of all the boys who have done work here and to whom diplomas have been awarded, the record over 20 or 21 years is 97.8% who have gone on to four-year colleges. And about 65 to 70% of those have been to highly competitive colleges, usually in the East. This, of course, has changed considerably during the last 5 or 10 years when college pressures have become greater. But more important, we think, than the number who enter college is the number who stick it out, complete their undergraduate work. And Haverford's record is just short of 91% of all graduates during 20 years who have completed their baccalaureate degrees. And finally, at the present time, of those who are going through college, somewhere around 58%, and it's creeping up steadily, are going on to graduate studies leading to professions.
Just a short distance from the Haverford School is the Haverford Friends School, long established as a base of instruction for youngsters in the elementary grade. Its buildings in the tradition of those of the society found in other Delaware Valley communities. And even as Haverford College, Haverford School, and Haverford Friends School have long years of accomplishment written after their names, so too the newest educational institution to Haverford's private school system, the Vanguard School, is on its way to writing its own educational record of achievement. Now only 5 years old, the Vanguard School fills a much-needed role in the educational spectrum. It's a pioneer in the special education field, the only school of its type in the United States. The first classes at Vanguard were conducted by the co-founder of the school in 1960. Today, he is also the educational director and president of Vanguard, Henry D. Evans, who outlines Vanguard's mission.
The purpose of Vanguard School is to provide an education for the interadjacent or in-between child. I'd like to point out that these are children who have educational problems but are not retarded or seriously handicapped in any way. There are thousands of such children, as we have found out, in the Philadelphia area, and it's estimated that there are between 2 and 3 million such children in the country today.
Vanguard staff of nearly 50 uses a wide variety of teaching methods, some old, some new, and all with many variations to fit the student. Each child is provided with what may well be the first successful educational experience of his life. Coordination is all important, and while many interadjacent children may be intellectually superior, they can't perform. At Vanguard, it is not uncommon for a youngster with a low reading level to have high mathematical ability. Such a student's classwork is geared to his ability. Vanguard's instructors are very able, most with master's degrees. The school operates 12 months a year, with a short break before the summer schedule starts, and again before the fall semester gets underway. During the summer session, 1/3 of the school day is devoted to swimming and sports, the balance to academic work in air-conditioned classrooms. No class has more than 8 students, and additional work is fitted to the student needs. Haverford College permits the use of its field house and playing facilities for Vanguard students. One of the newer facilities at Vanguard is its vocational training center. By way of closed-circuit TV, a student is presented with a problem. He responds on the 5-button multiple-choice console. His answer is automatically recorded. Most of these students have a normal or high IQ, but for some reason do not progress in normal school situations. In this automated instruction center, students discover their skills and how best to use them. There is no pressure to hurry, and the next problem comes up only when the student pushes the button. The work being done at Vanguard should reap benefits beyond the school's population. The experiences gained are also expected to aid educators concerned with dropouts retraining of workers, job counseling, and conventional training. One of the more active members of the Vanguard School Parents Association is WFIL's Rex Morgan, who was at the Vanguard School the day we recorded these pictures. Vanguard's curriculum is complete even to the fascinating world of chemistry. And again, the classes are small, and students proceed pretty much at their own rate. Now, today, Vanguard has students from 63 school districts in 9 Pennsylvania counties, as well as from 11 other states and on up into Canada. It also has a long waiting list. Educational Director Henry Evans outlines the educational future of many of the Vanguard students, always an important question for the parents who send their children to this highly specialized school.
For each child in Vanguard, there is a tailor-made plan. Many of the students do return to regular school. Some go through high school with us and go on to college. Some go on to other forms of higher education. Some go through a vocational program, which includes job training and on into industry and business, and many go into small businesses of their own. So for each Vanguard student, it depends upon his abilities and aptitudes what his destination will be. But the important thing is that all interadjacent children have a reasonable hope for self-sufficiency at adulthood.
Vanguard is now negotiating for the Hunter Mansion on Montgomery Avenue, which for years was district headquarters for the Pennsylvania Department of Highways. The Greystone Mansion contains 32 rooms. After modification, would become Vanguard's upper school. The handsome grounds would be ideal for expanded physical education facilities. This program couples recreation with special training in physical skills for those who need it. Vanguard also offers its students the opportunity to join school scout troops or work on the school newspaper or the student council. Vanguard helps pay for graduate study by its teachers. The clinical director for Vanguard, as well as its co-founder, is Dr. Milton Bruck. Mr. Evans reveals what the addition of the old Hunter Mansion to Vanguard's educational complex would mean.
During the past year, we have conducted quite a comprehensive study, and I might point out that our upper school is one of the few special day schools at the secondary level in our country today. We conducted a rather detailed study which indicated that a more optimal size, a more suitable size for the secondary program would be a student body of between 200 and 225 students. This would allow for a greater variety of course offerings and depth of programming in terms of curriculum. So this new facility, we're looking forward to this with a great deal of enthusiasm, because this will allow us to virtually double our present upper school population.
An outstanding example of the Haverford Township school system is the Coopertown School located in Haverford. The township has 8 elementary schools, a junior high, and a high school. The Haverford Square Shopping Center features fine shops and stores and plenty of parking. Unlike many shopping centers, the Haverford Square complex comprises smaller establishments catering to the special requirements of the residents, and there are no large stores in the area. Shopping is leisurely. The Haverford customers enjoy the lack of hustle and bustle that mark most shopping centers. The president of the Haverford Township Board of Commissioners is William Kirshner, who says the town is serviced by the township in good style.
Yes, we do concern ourselves with the residents of Haverford, since we supply through our government services police protection, fire protection. We collect their ashes, rubbish, and garbage, and we supply lights, which of course the township pays for. And all the other services that we provide in Haverford Township are likewise provided
to the residents of the community of Haverford.
The shopping center covers not only those stores within the immediate boundaries of the complex, but there are also many fine shops located directly across the street and within easy walking distance of the huge parking lot. The storefronts conform, and when some of the shops expand, and there isn't a great deal of room for expansion, they maintain the decor and beauty that make the shopping area so popular. But even as traffic moves in and out of the area without too many problems, traffic in the township, because of its rapid growth in population, is a problem, according to Commissioner Kirshner.
That is very true. That has happened over, I would say, the past 10 years in Haverford Township. And right at this time, the Township Commissioners are considering the undertaking of a long-range planning program in which the matter of transportation and highways will be a very integral part of the study and survey to be made.
Pennsylvania's ideal mental hospital is located in Haverford Township. Haverford State Hospital, an impressive group of buildings, opened in 1962. It draws its patients from an area no more than 15 miles from the hospital grounds and features the very best not only in treatment and service, but also in housing for its 550 patients. Haverford State has more than 600 on its staff, or a ratio of about 1 staff worker for each patient. Its rate of discharge is one of the highest of any state hospital in the Commonwealth. It is one of the 3 hospitals in the world to feature the special extended care buildings conceived by Dr. Humphrey Osmond, buildings that are designed to encourage patient recovery because they stress the importance of the individual rather than a group. As is the case in most state hospitals, occupational therapy plays a meaningful role in the total treatment of a patient. Here, patients have the opportunity to deal with actions, thoughts, and feelings on both a verbal and nonverbal basis. This therapy is also important in exploring the patient's vocational and pre-vocational potential. And highly qualified instructors are on hand, not only to teach, but also, of course, to encourage. In the spacious main section of Haverford State's Occupational Therapy Unit, we asked some of the staff workers to pose as patients and simulate the many activities available to the patient. Here, the staff workers are in the ceramic shop. The finished products used are actually those made earlier, for the most part, by the patient. And for those who like to putter in pottery, the opportunity, of course, is very great at Haverford State for the patients. And there are those who find the problems of weaving on a loom are beneficial, and here a staff worker demonstrates what can be accomplished. In many instances, the patient who is not at ease in group therapy will make progress on an individual basis. There are knitting classes for the beginner and for those more accomplished. Each staff worker is fully aware of each individual's abilities, skills, interest, and performance. Evaluation is made on each patient's work in the therapy department. In addition to the staff workers, there are also a great number of volunteers who come to Haverford State, allowing the community to participate in the treatment and understanding of their neighbors. The staff workers show the many facets of the art studio. Superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Jack Cremens, firmly believes that a mental hospital is not the end of the line for every patient admitted.
We believe that hospitalization is merely one phase of treatment. Very often this may be regarded as the emergency phase of treatment. It may extend over a period of a few weeks or over a period of a few months. But from the very beginning of a patient's hospitalization, the one thing that we try to impress upon the patient and upon the patient's family is that this hospitalization should be regarded in the same light that hospitalization in a general hospital for a physical illness is regarded. The patient is coming in for treatment. It is anticipated that he will leave the hospital and resume his life in the community.
This is a typical Osmond-type building. Basic theory of Dr. Osmond is that mental patients move at 3 levels of interpersonal relationship. Large numbers of people, such as you find on city streets, limited numbers, and alone. Each patient in a 24-unit section has his own room, shares a semi-private bathroom, and can read, meditate, participate at his own whim in the large sitting room, in the smaller 4-patient sitting room, or in his own room, which has the name of the patient on each door. In some buildings, such as this alcoholic rehabilitation unit, men occupy one section of the building, women the other. Dr. Cremens was asked the success of treating the alcoholics at Haverford State.
We got into the situation at Haverford when we became aware of the fact that a large proportion, approximately 1 patient out of 7 who was being admitted to the hospital, had a significant alcoholic problem. In attempting to meet this problem, we established a special unit. We have assigned 2 physicians who are interested in the problem of the rehabilitation of the alcoholic to this unit. There's a social worker assigned as part of the team, and there are 2 alcoholic counselors. We estimate that approximately 1/3 of our patients are achieving a successful result. By that we mean they leave the hospital, they're able to resume their vocations, they're able to get along in the community, and they are able to refrain from drinking.
The Merion Cricket Club in Haverford is 100 years old. Its long, rambling main building and its fine grass tennis courts, widely known by anyone and everyone who follows tennis. Cameraman Bill Lawrence caught some of the action at the recently completed 66th Pennsylvania Annual Lawn Tennis Championships conducted at Merion Cricket Club. Each year, the foremost tennis players in the world, men and women, converge on Merion for the week-long competition that is climaxed by the championship matches on Merion's famed center court. Here, as much as anywhere in the community, is the full flavor of Haverford exemplified, and the members of Merion Cricket spend long weeks and months in preparing for this competition. Not only is the club host to each entrant and assures his stay in Haverford is memorable, but the club's arrangements for spectators is also complete in every respect. And so Haverford, Pennsylvania is many things. The Merion Cricket Club and its lawn tennis, the seat of learning for outstanding educational institutions such as Haverford College, Haverford School, Friends School, and the Vanguard School. But most of all, Haverford was, is, and will be a community designed for gracious living. For Haverford is primarily a residential community, and its homes are among the very finest and most attractive anywhere on the main line or in the entire Delaware Valley. Haverford will not compromise its high standards for community living. The residents are dedicated to the continuance of this good life. The WFIL station salutes Haverford, Pennsylvania. Roy Nassau reporting.
We would like to thank the broadcast pioneers of Philadelphia and Temple University's TU-TV for their help digitizing these films. The quality at which we can now see them is even better than when they were first broadcast. We hope you enjoy seeing what our community was like more than 50 years ago.